His story is nothing short of a miracle. A Dallas police officer crushed by a suspect's car, injuries so severe that Ed Lujan says he felt his soul leave his body. Now he's ready to share details about the night that changed his life. Rebecca Lopez has the story.
When the officers opened fire on the suspect,
we should prepare for the worst.
Senior Corporal Ed Lujan was moments from dying.
I could hear people yelling and screaming, and I could hear ambulances, and I knew they were coming for me.
Lujan was working off duty on November 9th, 2015 at Club Kalua in Northwest Dallas. He and other officers were escorting 4 men who had been kicked out of the club. Police say this man, Eduardo Gonzalez Rios, got in his SUV, turned it towards Lujan, and ran him over.
It was the initial hit. I fell on my head slammed against the windshield, peeling my scalp all the way back from my right side back.
Police say Gonzalez Rios put the SUV in reverse and ran over Lujan again, and then shifted into drive and ran over him a 3rd time. His injuries were severe. He had a traumatic head wound where you could actually see his skull, a lacerated tongue, broken neck and back, broken ribs and sternum, shattered hips, ankles, and legs. As he lay on the pavement, he knew he was dying. For the first time, he is sharing his story of survival.
I felt a euphoria of my life and soul leaving my body. So it wasn't a feeling of a sadness or joy. It was more of a feeling of tranquility. So I knew what was going on. I'm dying.
He doesn't remember being hit, but woke up face down on the pavement. Lujan says he looked over to the side of the road and saw his father standing over him. His dad died 8 years ago.
He's looking down at me and he says, "Son, get up." And I said, "Dad, I can't get up." And then I'll never forget this. He puts his hands on his knees and he bends down towards me and he's looking down at my eye and he says, "Son, you have to get up because you have a family that loves you and needs you."
Lujan says he felt a sense of peace and says standing next to his father, he saw God.
God stood right next to my dad. I knew at that moment he was in heaven. I took a deep breath of air and I felt my life and soul re-enter my body. And I remember waking up in the arms of the firefighters en route to Parkland.
While in the ambulance, he could hear paramedics talking about his condition.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm gonna die in an ambulance. Like, I'm dying. And there's nothing that I can do.
He says as he was being wheeled into Parkland, he asked for a priest.
You know, I told him, "Father, forgive me for my sins, but the last thing that I want you to do before I pass away is I want you to forgive the person who did this to me."
He says the experience changed his life.
It's made me a better person, a human being, because I know how short life can be.
He says he wants to tell his story to help others dealing with pain, suffering, and the loss of someone they love.
But I don't remember feeling any pain, and I tell people all the time, you know, if God is that good, that he's not going to let you feel any suffering at that moment of death.
Many people, including doctors, thought he would never work as a police officer again. But here he is, back at work, a walking, living, and breathing miracle.
The man who nearly killed Lujan, Eduardo Gonzalez Rios, remains in jail tonight awaiting trial. Lujan says he forgives him.